What's good? My name is Kilo, and today I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what Acrasium is. Acrasium is what you need to progress further with your gearing to unlock later content. There's plenty of other videos on how to find the Acrasium, but I just want to kind of go more in depth. That way you guys can understand exactly how to get it or what to expect when you're trying to get the Acrasium. There's an easy way to break it down. There's 3 different sources of Acrasium that you can get throughout the game. RNG Acrasium, daily Acrasium, and one-time Acrasium. Now we'll start with the one-time Acrasium. Throughout the game, there's ways you can get the Acrasium one time on that character. I don't know if it's account wide. I haven't tried it on any other characters. I'm currently just leveling a soul master, but that one-time source can come from 3-4 different things that I've found. The first one is the Guardian raids. The Guardian raids, after you clear them one time, each boss in the tier 1 raid, once you complete it, will drop 3 Acrasium. If you don't know how to unlock the raids after level 50, really easy. There's an NPC on the top left of Burn. You talk to him, he'll give you a quest. That quest will lead you to do a Chaos dungeon, which I'll explain a little bit more of later. You do the Chaos dungeon, you go back and talk to him, and he'll unlock your tier 1 Guardian raids. They're fairly easy. It's kind of like Monster Hunter bosses. Basically, you hunt down the monster, kill it. It'll have you press G on that Guardian Soul, and it'll drop some items, and then you'll get a little chest, and open that chest, and you'll get a shit ton of items coming out, and there will be 3 Acrasium in there. Like I said, the bosses are pretty easy to understand. They have easy tells to when they're gonna do this attack or whatever. They do get more difficult as you go on after Lumerous, and then so on and so forth. They get a little bit more difficult, but each time you complete one of these bosses, you get 3 Acrasium. The second source is from the Tower of Shadow. I've made a kind of like a walkthrough on the first 20 floors, and then the next 10 floors from 20 to 30 floors that you get the Acrasium on is the 27th and the 33rd. The 27th floor should be able to do if your item level is at 285, but that 33rd floor could be a little bit more difficult. You might have to wait and gear up until you're item level 315 or something like that to get that finished up. And I'll make a guide from 30 to 40 on what item level you should be, what battle items are good and whatnot to complete those floors. But like I said, I do have a video of 1 to 20 and 20 to 30, part 1 and part 2, if you need any reference on how to complete any of the floors. The third option of one-time Acrasium that you can get in the game is actually from your opponent's reputations. It's the 3rd tab when you're looking at your dailies and your weeklies, which is Alt J is the hotkey to open that menu. Let's actually talk about the dailies. So when you look at your dailies, when you press Alt J, you'll have the first tab on the left it will list different dailies you can choose from. Now you can only do 3 of these per day. Just pick the 3 easiest that sound the 3 easiest to you, and you complete those. When you complete those, you'll get a opponent's daily pouch. You'll get a pouch in your inventory. Once you open it up, you have a chance at getting some Acrasium. Now you can get up to 2 to 3 per day. So once you complete 3 of those, each time you complete a daily, it'll show up in the 3rd tab like an achievement, almost like you need to complete that daily this many times and you'll unlock some more stuff. You'll receive some more items. This is the method, the one-time source method of getting Acrasium. In this 3rd tab, it's pretty simple to understand. Just keep doing the same daily over and over again, and you'll unlock that receive button at the end of it, you'll be able to receive those items. Some of these reward Acrasium, some do even reward Acrasium too, which you'll have to worry about later on in your gearing path. But this is how you unlock that third tab. There's also the weeklies that you need to do for the opponent's weekly pouches. Well, it's not exactly a pouch, you just receive an Acrasium for doing any of the weeklies on the list. You can refresh these 3 times per week. Now, the first time is free. The second and third time, you have to pay gems to refresh them. All I would say is pick the ones that are easiest for you to do, or whatever pertains to how you made your character. Like for instance, sometimes you'll see mining as the weekly for your life type, and you can see the types on the right, what you're gonna have to be doing to complete those weeklies. So for example, there's raid, voyage, life, item, PvP, maze. Just pick whatever you like doing the most and get them completed. For the PvP, the translations, if you're an English player, are a little bit weird. It'll say battle.net home victory, or bow victories 0 out of 10, or melee victories 0 out of 10. Just to break it down to you, battle.net is the TDM mode in PvP. The melee is the free-for-all mode. The bow is the LTS mode, last team standing. And yeah, so I would just pick 3 of these to do per week. Don't have to rush them. You could just do them over time as you're playing the game. I find that the PvP, for me personally, the PvP, the raid, and the voyage are actually the easiest. A lot of the times the life doesn't match with me. I do mining, but like I said, if you do archaeology or your herbalism, you want to make sure you grab that if it's the life skill that you're using. After weeklies, there is also a thing called chaos gates, and if you look at the top left of your game, you'll see a calendar that you can look at. Now, say for instance you look at the day that you're on currently, you can see everything that is going to happen in that day at what time. That is the, by the way, that on the top left, that is the Russian time period. So just follow that because it pertains to the schedule. Everything listed here on the schedule will tell you exactly what time, and if you want, there's a button that you can click to show you the location of where it's going to be. Some of these won't list the location, like for instance if it was a PvP hot time event, it'll just, you know, I mean, yeah, you get where to do the PvP at. Then there's field bosses, islands, things like that. The one that you want to worry about for Acrasium is when a chaos gate shows up. And chaos gates, on certain days it'll happen twice. Just pick the time period that's best for you. You can actually schedule pressing that plus sign next to it, and it'll remind you 15 minutes out, 30 minutes out, 5 minutes, hour, whatever. You can choose whatever you want and schedule it out. But the chaos gate is your last daily method that you can do to get some Acrasium. How the chaos gate works: the chaos gate, you can press the location of, and it'll show you the general area it's gonna be in. So you click on that area, it'll flash, you'll click on that location, it'll show the continent, and it'll flash the exact place where you need to be in. So when that time comes up, you need to be in that area, and what will happen is a purple ring will show on the map of that area, and once you go to that purple ring, you'll see a bunch of other players. They'll probably be sitting there. Only 30 people are allowed in per channel, so you just want to make sure you're there. And it'll take about 10 minutes, then the gate will open. You enter the gate. It's a pretty easy thing to understand. You just go through and kill stuff, and you kill a bunch of bosses. The final boss will drop that one Acrasium for you, and it is a pretty high item level place. I think it's like 320 recommended from the chaos gates, so you just make sure you dodge the AoEs or you're going to end up dying alive. You could just always return to base, which will start you at the beginning of the Chaos Gate, and walk back. It's not a huge deal. Just make sure you participate in these Chaos Gates to get your one Acrasium at the end of it. The last thing that I wanted to discuss for daily Acrasium is the Chaos Dungeons. The Chaos Dungeon will reward you with a box. You open that box and you might get an event Chaos Dungeon ticket. Now, you can only do 3 Chaos Dungeons a day, so you need to do all 3 and hope that you get a drop for one of those tickets. You get an event Chaos Dungeon ticket that you go back to the same place where you can sign up for your Chaos Dungeon, and at the top is where you can see you can do your event Chaos Dungeon. Now, you don't want to do these by yourself. You always want to match. It's really easy if you have a full party. When you run through the event Chaos Dungeon, at the end of it, you'll get your one Acrasium for the day. Just to recap, the only thing that you can do daily is your opponent's dailies, your Chaos Dungeons, and your Chaos Gates. So all those 3 things you can do daily to get Acrasium. The last source of Acrasium that you can get is through RNG. Sea treasure maps that you can get from sailing. I don't do a lot of sailing, so I don't get these. But once you sail and pick up treasure and, go on to broken down ships or whatever, you'll be able to have a chance to get a treasure map to get you some one Acrasium. It's a low chance, but you can get them through that method of just sailing around and doing stuff out in the ocean. The other way is through the black market, which will update after a certain time. You can see the timer right on the black market. It'll update after a certain time, and you'll be able to purchase Acrasium for a pretty low gem amount. If you don't want to pay anything for gems, that's completely fine. You'll just have to go through the other methods. This is just one way to get one Acrasium. It's pretty cheap. I'd say it's worth it. But if you don't want to pay anything in the game, it's completely fine. You have other means of getting Acrasium. There is one other weekly method that you can do to get the Acrasium, and that's through Labyrinth. So as you progress through Burn and its blue quests, you'll come to a point where you need to get into Balankar mountain range, and it has you do a series of adventure side quests to get in. And once you get in there is a dungeon, the Labyrinth of Desert. At least that's what it's translated to be. Once you have that unlocked, there's an NPC at the front of the labyrinth where you're gonna need to buy tickets. These tickets are what will let you enter the labyrinth. You can't enter in without them. To buy the tickets, you need either silver, looping seal, or gold. You can only buy 3 tickets with the silver, 3 tickets with the looping seals, and then I believe it's as many as you want with the gold, which I don't recommend spending because it's such a scarce resource. Once you buy as many tickets as you can, for that week before the reset, you want to use these tickets to enter the labyrinth and complete it. Now the labyrinth is fairly simple. It's kind of like a Diablo Rift if you ever played that. You go in, kill enemies, a boss spawns, you kill the boss, and it drops a seed called Debris, Debris. You pick those up, and if you go back to the NPC and go to her barter section, the tab when you're talking to her, you can trade those in for acrylic box in the dark. Those boxes are the ones that contain your Acrasium. You can get 5 boxes per week, and they cost 10 debris. Now I would say through each run through the labyrinth, you can get up to 5 to drop from the boss. So if those cost 10 per box, it's gonna take you maybe 8 tickets to get 5 of those boxes for the week. Once you get 5, you can't get any more, and that is one method of getting weekly Acrasium, is 5 of those boxes. I just wanted to make this guide to make sure everybody understood how to get the Acrasium. Sometimes I have my friends ask me. I just had a little trouble finding it when I was trying to figure out all the different ways to get the Acrasium. So I thought I'd make this guide to try to help whoever is having trouble with that. So thanks for watching. If you like the content, like and subscribe. I'll probably be coming out with more videos on gearing and PvP and what builds I like for Soulmaster and things like that. Let me know in the bottom if you guys think I miss anything. Just comment down below. Deuces.